All right. Happy New Year to you all. Welcome back. Happy New Year to you. I hope all is well with you. How are you today? I hope everything is working according to your plan. Now, this is our first video for the year, official video. I'm not talking about the crossover video like our last stream and all that. No. These are now the first uploading video for the year 2026. Today's date is the 1st of January 2026, and we are here again to react on a video to talk about something that concerns us. As you can see, this is breaking news from Sahara Reporter. They said Israel announces new front to protect Christian communities in Middle East and in Africa, including Nigeria. Sahara Reporter, and this news is one of the things that brought us here. All right, and I'm gonna share this together with a few other things before we end it. But before then, please do me a favor by making sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Very, very important. Your comment is very, very important to us, and make sure you like the video. Like it and share it. Comment. Tell us what you think about this move from Israel, because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made this announcement, and people are talking. Some are rejoicing. Of course, some are not going to be happy about it. They have seen through what we always said. The prophecy of Mazamanakan and the warning from PM Samanepa that the Western countries the West are not taking doing what they're supposed to do. They don't understand the danger at hand. They don't understand it, and it's not playing out. So I would like you to hear it from yourself. Hear what Benjamin Netanyahu said here. Very, very important. When he made this announcement.
46 years since you are representatives of the Christian Zionists who made Jewish Zionism possible. It's hard for me to conceive the emergence of the Jewish state, the re-emergence of the Jewish state, without the support of Christian Zionists in the United States, also in Britain, but the main thrust was in the United States in the 19th century. So Christian Zionism facilitated the rise and success of Jewish Zionism. And it's been an enormous partnership since then. I've known some of you. Mike, how long have we known? Since we were teenagers, something like that? A long time.
46 years.
46 years, since we were a little more than teenagers. But I can say that we have no better friends, and I mean that sincerely. You have stood by us through thick and thin, and now we're challenged by new challenges, but equally with new opportunities. We fought, as you know, a seven front war, and we've come out in many ways victorious. But there's an eighth front, and that's the front for the hearts and minds of people, especially young people in the West, and for me, especially in the United States, and for me, especially on the conservative wing of the United States. And I think it's not just Israel's battle. I think it's our common Judeo-Christian civilization's battle. And I think we have to engage in that battle as forcefully, with as much resolution as we engage the other seven fronts. I think it affects not only Israel, it affects America, it affects our alliance, it affects the future of Western civilization. And I don't think I'm exaggerating one bit. I have here my colleagues, Israel's ambassador to the United States, to the United Nations, our consul general in New York, our consul general in Miami, and every one of my delegation. We feel that this is a theater that has to be engaged with great force. Who's to engage in us in this? It's us. It's you and us. And we have to, we have to be, I think we have to stand up and be counted. They have to hear our voice. There are some people who believe that, that faith should be silent and terrorism should be understood. No. Faith should speak its voice, and terrorism should be confronted, not understood, confronted and defeated. And that is what we're engaged in right now. So I want you to know that I spoke with President Trump yesterday. I said this publicly too. I see the battle against us and the battle against our Judeo-Christian tradition basically being waged around the globe. And it's waged primarily by two forces, radical Shiite Islam and radical Sunni Islam. That means the axis that is led by Iran, much battered, admittedly, but still there.
This is the reason why I was telling us about what PM said and what Mahatma said. That the moment you begin to the West, ignore what it's supposed to do, and thinking that this is just, it's something that has to do with Africans and Black race. No, the terrorism going on, which some people prefer to nickname insecurity in Nigeria today, and genocide going on, is not about within Nigeria. It will spread. Just like you have it in Yemen, you have it in Afghanistan, you have it in Libya, you have it in Sudan. It's going to spread to other places, and it will help them to mobilize what they called, war and warriors to attack the West. So if they now realize this is good, because it's not about, first and foremost, all these people living with them, like in Nigerian Christians and neighboring communities that are facing these insecurities, that are now living in IDP camp, they will convert them eventually and use them against you. Do you understand? Because they have actually watered their movement and made it look so easy. They will have the population, the money is there. The reason why they're trying to Islamize Nigeria is because of what? Natural resources. They want the gas, the oil and everything in Christian communities to be used. Although they're using it now, in the pretense that is government and all this. Why hiding behind using that to fund one or two things? They will use that to build themselves and carry out jihad even in different countries. Few weeks ago, you heard what happened in Australia. They were there buying people. Sometimes they will just carry out one jihad like that against you, and they will now have multiple people that is ready to do the same thing, which ordinarily we wouldn't have seen them, trying to wage this kind of war against people. But if Israel, who understood the movement better than any other country, because they have been living with them, battling with them non-stop. They live in the midst of people, people that surround them, think like that. The best way to conquer Jews and all that. I watched a video of one Iranian, I think Iranian or I think the woman is from I think Lebanon. Okay, it has to do with Lebanese Christian who is now in America. And what the woman was giving details and plans of how they want to conquer, that even 9/11 did not start today. Maybe I will try my best to like that video to check the source to avoid sharing a video that we may share here and it will become a problem. So that's why I have it here with me, but I'm not gonna, use it on this video because I have to be sure of the video insert before bringing it. Because there's a video that you don't need to play like that. If you play it, it will affect you that play that. So I have to cross-check very, very well before going to that. Now listen, here the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu what he said. And I believe that other countries will understand. Finland, you need to respect your dignity at least. What is going on now is a global issue. Yes, even Norwegians and Denmark, Finland, and all these countries need to understand that nobody wants to live in an environment that you'll be forced to do everything, forced religion, forced belief system, forced your way of life will be changed automatically by another fellow human being, and you can be slaughtered at any given time simply because you are infidel. So this idea of holding Simon Ekpa, Biafran Prime Minister, is not good at all. Not at all. And there's a video I'm going to play here before we end this video, so you understand what I'm talking about. Because in the minds of people that actually made you to hold PM, to hold Simon Ekpa like that, they understand that you're actually doing their bidding. And at the long run, you may be one of the victims. The only country that understood this very well, like I said, is Israel. Hear this.
And the axis, the Sunni axis, led by the Muslim Brotherhood, which permeates everything. They go to Europe, they go to the United States, they go to
I hear that.
Nigeria.
Nigeria. They go to Europe, they go to America, they go to Africa, Nigeria. They will go there and recruit, bring just only 3 people is enough to amplify normal Muslims that think normal, to make them look like, convert them overnight, and plant this seed of hate and terrorism, and the rest will be history. And you'll be busy thinking about about your national your nationality, or your nation. That's what I was looking for. You thinking about your nation. This country must progress, must have a good leader. The moment as you are doing that, they are trying penetrating to conquer you. Before you know it, you'll be struggling to regain your identity.
Just of the fact that Christians are being persecuted across the Middle East, in Syria, in Lebanon, in Nigeria, in Turkey, and beyond. And we're also aware of the fact, as you are, that one country protects the Christian community, enables it to grow, defends it, and makes sure that it thrives. And that country is Israel. There is no other. None. We are joining an effort to have basically a United Nations of countries that support Christian communities around the world, beleaguered communities who deserve our help. Just as you are helping us, we want to help back. And we're capable of doing that. In Africa with Intel, in the Middle East with a lot of needs that I won't itemize each one. But this is what our agenda is. It's the main part of our agenda. And it's going to continue with greater force and greater might in this coming year. I want to use this opportunity to wish you all, well, it's kind of late for a Merry Christmas, but a belated Happy Christmas, and not a belated, and on time, a Happy New Year. May it be a year of prosperity, peace, and security for all of us, but especially for the Christian communities around the world. So thank you. Happy New Year to all of you. And thank you.
All right. So this message is very simple. You understand that if they lay hands fully with this minds of jihad and minds of Sharia law and all these things that they actually want to execute, they want to carry it out. If they finally lay hands on that, that is more fun, because Saudi Arabia are somehow distancing themselves from the agenda. So they actually need fund. So Nigeria is a safe haven for that. And the best way to stop them is to divide Nigeria, destabilize the system that enabling this kind of push. If you can destabilize it by I'm not saying war. Even the easiest way to stop them is just divide the country. Divide the country and let them be on the side, just like what Somaliland is doing now. Somaliland are Muslim, don't get it twisted. They are Muslim as well, but the Somalia are also Muslim. Now, but some of they are different. These different Muslim won't believe in jihad, Sharia, and these brutal activities and all that. The other one, no, that's Somaliland. So these two, to make sure that the other one that have this kind of dominance and force, separate them from the other one by putting this boundary. That will actually limit them. You see, the reason why every country that condemned Israel for recognizing Somaliland are actually just like a Somalia. They have the same mentality, which one of the Nigerian politicians said, I think anyway, from another, I forgot the state. Oh, no, the man serves as governor of the state. I think that's not why I can't remember. Or Zamfara. One of the governors said that every Muslim in Nigeria think jihad. Every Muslim in Nigeria think, especially those politicians, they think jihad. They are okay with Sharia law. They want to bring Sharia law to national to the Nigerian constitution. So it will become a national law to every corner of Nigeria. That without demanding that you have other people that practice different faiths from what they have. But do they care? Of course they don't. Why? Why would they care? When they know that you that is talking is actually the primary job they need to carry out. Now, this is for you to know the mindset. Read this message here. He said, breaking news: we cannot arrest Gumi or any other terrorist because we want to negotiate with the terrorists, which Gumi represent. But we will go after indigenous people of Biafra because they want to divide the country. Nigerian military. Can you just like you want to negotiate with a terrorist who can buy anybody? Then you want to negotiate with them. Then we now turn around and carry out war against people who say no. I can sense terrorism here. I understand the system is actually enabling these terrorists. I don't want to be part of it again. I'm out of here. Let me go and stay in my house. He said, no, you don't go, you go nowhere. How will you go when you are our subject? Because we want to use you to set an example that we can conquer because they will buy and buy and buy you until you become afraid of your life and whatever they said you have to do. That is why they said as an infidel, you have to pay them tax, you have to prove to them this and that. Why? Because they believe that is the only way to get you out of the picture. The only way to capture you, the only way to not only capture you, but to take away your land and your identity away from you. Now here the man used the word kinetic approach and non-kinetic, kinetic and non-kinetic approach. Remember, kinetic is like act of force. You have to use force. That is kinetic. Kinetic like confrontation. Probably you may even say war, right? Kinetic approach. But non-kinetic is this when you hear, let us negotiate, let us understand bandits, let us understand terrorists. They are our brothers, they are one of us, they are here to stay. Hi, Chineke. And this is coming from people that you invested your trust and your life that they are protecting you. And don't forget, they have been they have opened door to reintegrate those that are struggling, not struggling, those that have determined to take your life away from you. Hear this.
You just mentioned the comments by some individuals and leaders.
Some individuals and leaders, you can see how he paused, delaying to mention, just say Gumi. He will not, because he's haram. Listen.
I will still refer you back to the fact that every agency has its functions, and it is not for the armed forces to focus on what some people in the society do not agree with our activities. Ours is to focus on our kinetic operations and as much as possible conduct non-kinetic when necessary. I believe they are ready.
Do you hear that? Ours is to conduct kinetic activities and as much as conduct non-kinetic activities when necessary. And that non-kinetic is when it has to do with northerners, non-kinetic. In other parts, kinetic, especially Igbo land. You get the point now. In a country where you practice kinetic approach and non-kinetic approach in a country, okay, and they are doing it from two different sides. This one's kinetic, the other one non-kinetic. The reason is because the people that are carrying out the action are from the part of the country that they don't want to use kinetic. They're using non-kinetic negotiation, understanding terrorists, and learn how to live and coexist with them.
There are relevant agencies who are tasked to consider that statement if it is against or for the country. And I believe that they are doing so. On our part, we can raise observations to that. And I believe if it is necessary, we will add our voice to raising those observations to the appropriate quarters. Thank you very much.
So there's an agent that is going to look into Gumi comment to see if it is good for the country or not good for the country. I don't understand. A terrorist that ransack people that you are leading or you are ruling and send them to IDP camp. Somebody now wake up and say, I am here telling you guys don't use force on them, but they use force to buy people, citizens, and get them out of the picture. They use force to do that. All of a sudden, you don't understand what force is all about anymore. You get the point now. Now hear this.
The security threat prevalent in the region remains the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra.
You see how easy it is for him to mention proscribed people of Biafra, but he was struggling to use the name Gumi. He said comment and anybody that's make comment individual without mentioning Gumi. So it's not going to make headline news, but you already know where the thing is coming from. When it has to do with when it has to do with Igbo people or Biafrans, you can see his statement. What did he say? He started telling you about Biafra straight ahead without wasting much time. Hear it again.
The security threat prevalent in the region remains the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, known as IPOB, subsequently, and its Eastern Security Network. The security threat prevalent in the region remains the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, known as IPOB, subsequently, and its Eastern Security Network. Crimes and other criminal activities have significantly decreased during the year following troops' intensified operations across the southeastern states, as well as the recent court rulings against their leader, Simon Ekpa, who was jailed by the government of the Republic of Finland, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Abuja. These developments have substantially degraded the group's capabilities. The security threat.
Now, that this development have degraded the group capabilities, and this information this one must go to those who went to Finland to testify against PM, and those who went to Abuja to testify against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and one cover face, the other one open their face. Now, after seeing that, do you still need to know who cover face to testify against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the court? Even the military are here telling you the reason why the group is incapable like as used to be is because of the arrest of these leaders. When PM emerged as a leader, they said no, he's not a leader. Mazi Kanu is the only thing we know. But the people that you claim that you want to get your freedom from, they recognize him as your leader. Why? Because he was doing exactly thing the other leader is doing to make sure that you stand and defend your life, not waging war, attacking anybody, but to call a spade a spade. My own is to report and react on these things. I'm not actually telling you to do anything. The choice is yours. I'm not your leader. I don't even agitate. I'm not even in any leadership or anything at all. I'm just creating content, like I always tell you. But we have to say the truth, because sometimes when you say this truth, they think that you are working and you are working in support, you are part and parcel. No, we have to say, because we have eyes to see, we have ear to hear. That's the reason why you have it up there. Why is your eyes and your mouth are not down? It is up because you have to think ahead. You have to see ahead. You have to recognize what is before you. Otherwise, it would have been you would have bent down. Maybe your eyes would be down now below your feet or something like that. But God that put it out there, put it up here, is not a man. He knows why he did so. Now listen again.
Violence in the region remains the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, known as IPOB, subsequently, and its Eastern Security Network. Crimes and other criminal activities have significantly decreased during the year following.
Crime and other activities have decreased, and somebody is somewhere carrying flag in Europe, bragging and talking. I just want, why I'm calling them as this IPOB DOS is that I know when you talk about foolishness, their own is beyond human comprehension. Now, we are not promoting violence. I'm not saying people should go and commit crime, buying innocent people, ransacking villages. No, but the moment you know how to separate crime from agitation, that means you are actually a normal human being. But those who want to tag every violence, every criminal activities to people who are agitating, they themselves are criminals. Now listen again.
Intensified operations across the southeastern states, as well as recent court rulings against their leader, Simon Ekpa, who was jailed by the government of the Republic of Finland, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Abuja. These developments have substantially degraded the group's capabilities in security threat.
So that is that one of the achievements of DOS ever, to degrade the group capabilities. All right, and internal problem sponsors and funded by the government of the day. Anyway, I'm not gonna say much. I just want to share this with all this. Happy New Year to you once again, and make sure you like the video and share it on many platforms of your choice. God bless you. See you again. Take care. Please don't forget to tell me what you think about all we have discussed so far on the comment.